CBDCs or central bank digital currencies are becoming more popular. Every day I see news articles about them. So many people have questions. What is a CBDC? Should I be concerned? What can I do about it? Well, I polled my audience and asked, what are the biggest questions that you have? I wrote them all down, and here we are going to demystify the CBDC. I'll give you all the information you need to know. I will have all the links in the description, timestamps, and everything. This will be my biggest video I've ever done. So let's get into the truth of the matter. The very first thing that I wanted to cover is what is a CBDC? Well, a CBDC is a central bank digital currency. It's digital money issued by a central bank. That's pretty simple. But what does it all mean? How can you actually look at this in a different way? I want to explain the whole thing. CBDC is a digital form of fiat currency issued by a central bank, while the current financial system refers to the traditional banking system based on physical currency and electronic payments processed by financial institutions. Now, here are the key differences between CBDC and the current financial system. Issuer. CBDC is issued by a central bank, while traditional currency is issued by central banks and commercial banks, depending how you look at it. Form. CBDC is a digital currency, while traditional currency exists in both physical and digital form. Accessibility. CBDC can be accessed and used by individuals and businesses directly through digital wallets, while traditional currency requires intermediaries such as banks and payment processors. Traceability. CBDC transactions are highly traceable due to the digital nature of the currency, while traditional currency transactions can be anonymous. Security. CBDC may offer stronger security features. They tell us that traditional currency due to its digital nature, but this also makes it vulnerable to cyber attacks. Monetary policy. CBDC can potentially enable central banks to implement more precise and effective monetary policy, while the current financial system relies on interest rate adjustments and other measures. Overall, a CBDC represents a new form of money that has the potential to significantly transform the current financial system, but also raises important questions around privacy, security, and the role, more importantly, the role of central banks. So that's where we are today. We need to look at this really clearly. I know there are a lot of questions, and that's why I wanted to start by really breaking this down. Are CBDCs disruptive? There will be no notable disruption, as both currency systems will likely be operational simultaneously. The central banks will roll out CBDCs in parallel with current systems, and commercial banks could adopt them as soon as their IT systems can be updated. When many people hear CBDC or central bank digital currency, they immediately think of Bitcoin and Ethereum and others, but there are many differences. So let's look at it. Cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currencies have some similarities, but there are also some key differences between them. Here are a few ways that they differ. Issuer. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized digital assets that are not issued by a central authority. In contrast, CBDCs are digital currencies issued and backed by a central bank or government. Legal tender. Cryptocurrencies are not legal tender, meaning they are not recognized as the medium of exchange by governments. CBDCs, on the other hand, have the potential to be recognized as legal tender and used for everyday transactions. Control. Cryptocurrencies are not subject to the same level of control and oversight as CBDCs. Government can impose rules and regulations on CBDCs, such as limits on transaction size or monitoring for illicit activities. Privacy. Cryptocurrencies may offer a higher degree of privacy and anonymity compared with CBDCs, which may be subject to government surveillance and monitoring. Technology. Cryptocurrencies use blockchain technology, which is a decentralized ledger that records all transactions. CBDCs can also use blockchain technology, but they can also be built on other types of centralized or decentralized infrastructure. These are just a few of the ways that cryptocurrencies and CBDs differ. As CBDCs are relatively new development, it remains to be seen how they will ultimately be implemented. But I assure you that all of these details will become very apparent to you as time goes on. I have to tell you about Proper Cloth, the best place for custom-made shirts. As someone who always wears tailored clothes because off the rack never fits, I can tell you that Proper Cloth delivers. With Proper Cloth, getting custom-made shirts has never been easier. It took less than 5 minutes to order the perfect shirts for my unique size and style. And the best part, no measuring required. I just answered 10 simple questions, and Proper Cloth's proprietary smart sizes technology takes care of the rest, using data from thousands of clients to calculate my optimal shirt dimensions. I know I can trust Proper Cloth when it comes to quality too. They source the finest fabrics from mills around the world and craft each shirt with precision to ensure that it will last as long as you want to wear it. If you need advice on how to design your shirt, their best-in-class style experts are a dream to work with. They have all the answers when it comes to your personal look. But what sets Proper Cloth apart from other custom shirt makers is their commitment to the perfect fit. If your shirt doesn't fit exactly how you like it, they'll remake it for free. That's a guarantee. And with thousands of 5-star reviews from highly discerning customers, you know you're in good hands. Whether you're looking for the ultimate business shirt or casual shirt that's comfortable and stylish, Proper Cloth has you covered. You can customize every possible design detail, collars, cuffs, pockets, buttons, tucked versus untucked, to create a shirt that's uniquely yours. And you never have to worry about wrinkles or breathability again. So if you're looking for a custom-made shirt that's simple, easy, and fast, look no further than Proper Cloth. Click the link in the description and use the code GPS20 to get $20 off right now. Now, obviously, people are concerned about their finances and they're wondering, is a CBDC better or worse than what we have right now? Well, a CBDC is even further removed from oversight of the people. If we learned anything from 1971, it's that more debt and inflation can be expected as a result. That's what we have to deal with. And that leads me directly into this point, which is, why would governments even want to actually have a central bank digital currency? What is the advantage here? What does it give them? If you're going to spend time, money, and effort on it, it must benefit the people, right? Well, according to Neil Kashkari, the Fed president, he literally said that introducing a central bank digital currency would allow them to monitor every transaction, it would allow them to impose negative interest rates, and a direct tax on consumer accounts. These are the things that are being put in place right now today. They're working on this, and so we must be aware of it. If they are able to do all of these things, we must be looking into how we can mitigate some of that. We must care about what they are doing. While we don't have direct knowledge of this yet, it is likely that governments will use CBDCs to have more control over the population. Accounts can easily be shut down. Carbon footprints will be tracked in the coming years, and this could have a link to what you are able to buy. Compliance will be a major factor, and if you haven't received any particular mandate, an algorithm would automatically disable your ability to use your currency. No human intervention will take place. As social credit scores become implemented globally, a central bank digital currency makes it very easy to enforce this policy. All of these things are extremely important for people to be aware of. While we have that awareness, it's important that we do what we can to avoid the CBDCs if at all possible. So how do we avoid them? Well, you will need to follow the pillars of prosperity, either having much more income and or being self-sufficient. Those who are unprepared will be forced on their system. It is likely that the initial rollout of a CBDC will be as a parallel system. In time, your bank will be updated, payment processors will accept it, and your employer may switch to it. there is a high likelihood that in the future, UBI or Universal Basic Income will be tied directly to the CBDC, and so anyone who requires government assistance will likely be forced into this system as the only means of survival. This is why it is essential to have your preparations in place with the pillars of prosperity. Earn income in different countries around the world, having banks around the world. Some countries may not force it, and so you can earn income and have it deposited into a traditional bank account. Also, being self-sufficient or off-grid will largely allow you to have little need for their system. Putting these steps in place, along with what I'll cover in a minute, is going to help you get away from the system as best we can. Our current system, the way we look at it here, is something that is always fragile. So we need to diversify. Well, what I want to talk about here is because of the CBDC, we definitely need to diversify alternatives. While some consider Bitcoin and perhaps some cryptocurrencies to be an alternative, we don't have any way to assess if this prediction will come true. In an optimal scenario, if we could have a type of decentralized currency to transact in either domestically or internationally that was out of the view of the CBD system, that would be positive for the well-being of everyone. Holding real physical assets will protect us from the inevitable inflation that will be present in this CBD system. This is essential. Earning income with geographical diversification will be even more important than it is today. All of these put in place are going to make a difference. We need to look at this from a top view, zooming out, or else we're never going to be able to pinpoint it, and when that day comes, we're going to be forced onto their system. So what can be said about central bank digital currencies? Well, all central banks will go ahead with CBDCs, so it is inevitable. Our employers will likely pay us with it. Stores will all be taking it, and the cashless society will be fully implemented. There are some steps outlined here today that help us mitigate the risks associated with that CBD system. We have to try our best. We have to implement as many of the strategies as we can and take advantage of this time that we have now before they are fully implemented. There is so much more that I would love to get into, but I just wanted to make a couple points. What we can see today is that the central banks are not going about this alone. In fact, many of them have teamed up with the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements. And what they are doing is a test where they would do transactions between each other and the BIS would be at the center of it all. So what does this mean? Why is that important? This is what the central bank digital currencies are all about. We give up even more sovereignty. When there was a time that actually the treasuries would print up the currency and they would make those decisions, there was actual oversight. But then we gave that up to central banks. And now today, it's going to be even worse as central bank digital currencies come through because you have no oversight whatsoever. The Congress can't grill the BIS. They don't do that. That's why you have an actual level beyond what you're capable of knowing. You won't know anything. You will have no oversight. AI and algorithms will make these decisions and you have no material impact on what could happen. They are deciding that impact on you. At the same time, you've got these organizations like the World Economic Forum that are saying, let's begin CBDCs, let's make it happen, let's impose them everywhere. Why? Because of all the things that I said about Neil Kashkari and what he had to say. They want to do this so they can decide what you can and cannot do. That's the world we are living in today. They are testing this system. They are doing so with the BIS beyond and above our central banks that are supposedly representing us. This is very worrisome, and that's why I've brought this information to you today. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it, And of course, share this video with somebody who needs to know the truth about central bank digital currencies. Take care.